We gonna make this one no longer than it needs to be. You're gonna get to a level, hopefully, when you actually embody and personify all the principles of life at the highest degree. The highest level of this shit is not only having superior standards, it's you becoming a superior standard. Listen, I've been all over the world, in many gyms, in many spaces, many places. Simply said, on the most generalistic level, I've been in many environments. And when I arrive on the scene, I already know shit start going to glitching. Shit start glitching out. Motherfuckers don't know how to feel about themselves. Why? Because he pulled up. Now, when you've been riding for yourself, by yourself, as yourself for so long, and winning, like succeeding by yourself, as yourself, and for everybody else for so long, you get to a new level of instinctual confidence, whereby which the environment is going to try to lie to your organic eyes. But ultimately speaking, you have to trust that voice and that inner tutor inside, your intuition. And understand that motherfuckers is walking around hating and having crazy self-talk about you and themselves when you walk in the room as him. Everybody thinks he's him until he arrives, right? So the purpose of this whole message, real quick, is for everybody out there to aspire to one thing. Not only to embody and personify superior standards, but to become a superior standard, whereby which in any environment you get into, the individuals are forced to either stretch upward towards your level of operation or to crystallize their own mediocrity. Why your world is yours? Because intelligence polarizes. In the event that you are exposed, in the event that you are availed, the ability to witness, perceive intelligence higher than that which you have done prior, you will have two options. You will be able to stretch and lean into a new opportunity through the law of exposure, or you will, by ego, arrogance, and prideful bullshit, crystallize yourself and polarize yourself into remaining on a lower level and sometimes even worsening yourself and getting onto a even lower level. Your world is yours. There are two types of people in this life. And when you become the individual who is the superior standard, you will be the first type, which is a person whose presence is effortlessly felt. We're not here to impose our presence. We're not here to assert our presence. It's simply an effortless byproduct of having that degree of self-concentration, that degree of psychic power, that degree of confidence, that degree of having shown up for yourself every fucking day in a world full of people who just didn't show up. It's that level of certainty. It's that level of assuredness that people don't have. They say, you're so sure of yourself. What the fuck? You want me to be less sure of myself? You want me to doubt myself? Of course I'm sure of myself, because I was there every day. And not only was I there every day, my life is a testimony to the efficaciousness of my own products, of my own systems, of my own thoughts, in a world full of individuals who are consistently showing up and not getting anywhere significant. So of course I'm sure of myself. So bring it back. Two types of people. When you become a superior standard, you're going to walk into rooms and your presence is going to be automatically and effortlessly felt. I'm not even thinking about it. But it's the ricochet of the vibrations, because everybody is an expression. Everybody is emanating. So once you recognize that sounds, for example, when you're in an acoustic environment and there's reverb, reverberation, revibration, right? So the sounds are literally bouncing off of the walls and creating that audible effect, that acoustic effect. And the same thing happens with personal vibration and electromagnetism. When you are emanating and your aura is in a room, whether that's walls, other humans, etc., other humans are emanating as well. They're projecting and exuding vibrations as well. So if you're in a room by yourself, it's just you and your energies bouncing off of each other. But when you're in a room full of other transceivers, those who are transmitting, emitting, and also receiving, right? So radio, it's a two-way radio. It's not just output, it's output and input. It's broadcasting and receiving, right? When you become that individual and you walk into the room and you're on that level of operation, the reverberations and the ricochets are going to be way too real for people to want to deal with. But as long as you stay composed and know who you are at any given point, you're going to realize that it's your presence that's disturbing individuals. They don't know how to navigate. They don't know how to perceive themselves. They're experiencing cognitive dissonance. A real person is going to be like, yo, that's inspiring. I aspire to be at that level. They don't have hate in their heart. They don't have jealousy in their heart. They don't have those taints of negative emotion. But the suckers is the suckers, and the suckers is always going to be the suckers, and the suckers is always going to act like they not suckers. Remember that. Suckers is always going to act like they not suckers. But yesterday, I'm in the spot, and a dude just pulls up on me and shares his mind. So dude shared his mind and was honest, but imagine all the people who don't share their mind and who are dishonest. And when you actually interrogate them about their weird ass behavior as a byproduct of your presence, they actually choose to lie about it, huh? Yeah, exactly. There are way more of them than there are of the people who are just straight up honest and forthright about how they really feel in any given moment, and who are willing to put their egos aside in order to grow. Consider the vibrations raised. Evolution, only solution. Self-mastery, only success. The highest level of this shit is when you become a superior standard. When I walk in a room, everybody's irrelevant because I'm only focused on my internal vision, and I'm tuned into my intuition. I'm listening and I'm envisioning, listening, envisioning, visualizing, and having that auditory experience with the creator and the connection. Everybody else is so preoccupied with my presence that they don't recognize that they're just transferring their energy. And when you start to move with haste, and you start to move with angst, and you start to move with anxiety, and you start to move with fear, you end up burning the wick of your energetic candles and transferring your energy to the person that you over there trying to take energy from. Consider the vibrations raised. Evolution, only solution. Self-mastery, only success. We've been doing this shit since the motherfucking park. Now we out here. You know what I'm saying? We could be anywhere and everywhere, because it's not what you do. It's not where you are. It's who the fuck you are. You feel me? Everywhere you are, there you are. So it doesn't matter if you change location. Vibration knows no location. So it doesn't matter where you are. It's who is there and who you are. It's not a matter of what you do or what you have. It's who's doing it and who's using what's necessary to get the means accomplished. So many people have iPhones, exactly. So many people work out, exactly. So many people get on, exactly. You just not that, you know what I'm saying? So whatever you are, your world is yours. Consider vibrations raised. We're at a level of superior ultra instinct, if that's what they want to call it. But this is what happens when you stay sober and you get fit and you get actually enlightened and you actually get rich. You're afforded higher levels of consciousness. And once you recognize it's not about the money, it's not about the muscles, it's not about the sobriety, it's about embracing and enduring situations whereby which you're going to have to stretch your consciousness. If you were truly about expanding and evolving your consciousness, you would undergo self-imposed, how do you say, adversity? I wouldn't even call it adversity. You would just undertake challenges to yourself. So it's not about the money. It's about the challenge that it takes to get the money. It's not easy to do that. If it was easy, everybody would not be broke. Well, most niggas out here is fucking broke as shit, and they gave up on getting money and they start hating on people who got money. That's just really what it is. Same thing with the muscles. You know, you showed up to the gym to look exactly like Sheikhy Chic. You know, you showed up for that real shit, but you gave up on it. So people usually hate on what they gave up on, and that's just what it is. So just to re-synopsize, you know, there's the highest level of this shit is when you become a superior standard, whereby which when you walk into any environment, you could call it a room, you could call it a place, you could call it a space, it's an environment. You inhabit an environment. At the highest level, the cosmos, the entirety of the universe is an environment. You're in the environment. And when you walk into the environment, either you're negligible, you're irrelevant, you know what I'm saying, or as a byproduct of what you are and the vibration that you emanate, you just simply are a superior standard, where people either do two things. They're either going to stretch themselves into what they have never been availed because they've never perceived something at that level of operation and stretch themselves into a higher level of operation. Or what people are going to do is crystallize themselves into a rigid form of ego and trap themselves on a lower plane of existence because they are unable to integrate what they're perceiving, and they experience cognitive dissonance. And as most people know, most people are in denial. You know what I'm saying? So consider the vibrations raised. This is why mentally ill people become more mentally ill when mentally healthy people arrive, because mentally ill people create all these systems of protecting themselves from the actualities and the realities at be. That's why they're mentally ill. And when you are that real thing, you become the red pill, you become that standard, you become the truth, the embodiment, the personification. You just disrupt everything that they're trying to, you know, stay away from. So whatever you are, consider vibrations raised. Evolution, only solution. Self-mastery, only success, always and forever. You know, I just know that my phone just died in my pocket. I don't know if this shit recorded the whole shit, so I'm gonna start the whole video over because I'm in that flow state. The highest level of this shit is when you become a superior standard. And there are two types of people in this life. People who, when they walk into an environment, their presence is automatically and irresistibly felt, right? And then there are those who, because their presence is felt, they try to make their presence felt. One time I heard Wes Washington say, people try to make you uncomfortable. People try to loom around your energy, try to siphon your energy, try to get in your proximity. You're trying, your intention is to make me uncomfortable or to delegate and offset your discomfort on me. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you are, your world is yours. When you become a self-aware being like myself, it's too many angles to be seeing, to not be seeing the bullshit. You feel me? So whatever you are, your world is yours. You're either going to be a person who is a superior standard, and when you walk into the room, you walk into the environment, motherfuckers is going to either be inspired or they're going to be insecure, you know. And lastly, when you are in the environment, people are either going to have a presence that's recognizable and respectable, because real recognize real. Whenever I see a real nigga in a room, I say what's up, but I mind my business, because what? When I walk into the room, I'm so focused on my vision and envisioning, and I'm so focused on my intuition and listening, that the external environment is entirely irrelevant. And the thing about people is that they do the craziest things for recognition. Humans, these creatures, they do the darndest things for recognition, right? And that's when you realize that they're literally trying to be perceived. They're trying to be acknowledged. They're trying to be recognized, because the degree of recognition that they're paying to you has sidestepped them from themselves. So, you know, lessons learned always and forever. Everybody get sober, stay sober, get fit, get enlightened, get rich. Why? Because these things are challenges unto your soul. The only goal is the evolution of your consciousness. The goal isn't the money itself. The goal isn't being sober itself. The goal isn't having the muscles themselves. The goal isn't even just having and possessing random bits of information that you purport to be knowledge. The goal is to actually stretch and evolve your consciousness into a new level so that you can actually perceive life at the highest level possible, experience life at the highest level possible before you dip out. You know what I'm saying? People think it's about the money, it's about this, it's not about that. It's not about that. It's about actually willingly undergoing a challenge and undertaking the quest of actually doing what's difficult. If having money was easy, all these motherfuckers wouldn't be broke. So money is a barrier to competence. If having a body like Sheikhy Chic or everybody else who's actually fit in top physique was easy, then all of these individuals would have that, but they don't. It's a barrier to competence. So bottom line is, everything is a measure of individual consciousness and individual competence. You know what I'm saying? So sober, can you even deal with existence without poisoning yourself, without sabotaging yourself, without emotionally being reliant? You're not emotionally self-reliant. There's so many levels of your consciousness that's actually limited and dysfunctional. And that's your own shit to deal with, because you have a very limited time on this earth. So either you could sit there and waste your own time acting like you don't know and suffering your own ignorance and suffering your own poverty, or you could just wake the fuck up and realize that self-discipline and motivation are inferior to self-love. I don't have to think about waking up in the morning. I don't have to think about looking amazing. I don't have to think about feeling amazing. I don't got to think about doing the work. Why don't I have to think about doing the work? Because I love myself enough, way too much, to fail. You motherfuckers watch yourselves fail every day, and then you tell yourself it's okay. We will never tell ourselves it's okay to fail. That's crazy. That's really crazy. So consider the vibrations raised. Evolution, only solution. Self-mastery, only success. We out here shining like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? A whole lot of swag, a whole lot of juice. And a whole lot of niggas out here is trying to suck juice. You know what I'm saying? Money, power, respect over everything. It's infinite amounts of money, power, and respect to get out here in this motherfucking world. But so many people think that they got to suck juice off another nigga to get their money, their power, and their respect. You a suck-ass nigga. Hating-ass people who jump in the comments. Hating-ass people who be in environments, being weird shit, trying to siphon off energy, trying to make niggas feel weird. Listen, you trying to suck juice. I'm a self-sustained nuclear being, you feel me? And once you become that egoistic, self-sustaining being, what's going to happen is you're going to realize a lot of motherfuckers is dependent and vampiric on other sources for their juice. Get your own juice, homie. It's too much juice out here to be getting. what I'm saying? Money, power, respect. It's infinite amounts of money, infinite amounts of power, infinite amounts of respect. Get it on your own, build it on your own, cultivate it on your own. Never suck juice, never be a hater. Consider the vibrations raised. Evolution, only solution. Self-mastery, only success. Remember, two types of people, man. It's people that walk in a room and their presence is automatically and irresistibly felt, like myself. And we're not even paying attention to the outside world, but the outside world is paying so much attention to us that they try to make their presence felt, right? So that's person number two. The type of person who, because of presence is felt, they try to make their presence felt. It's a assertion of negative emotion, right? The need to impose oneself. And lastly, the highest level of this shit is when you walk everywhere on every yard in every part of the earth, and you are a superior standard where you now make everybody question who the fuck they are, because everybody think they him until he pull up. You know what I'm saying? And I've been around a group of people who are him in their own respect, and Sheikhy Chic is always going to be him in his own respect. Don't get jealous. Don't be a sucker. Evolution, only solution. Self-mastery, only success. I love y'all. Get on the program and learn how to really build your life. Like, a nigga just keeps swagging on the world, and motherfuckers are so arrogant, egotistical, that they rather stay broken, poor, and lame, and a loser in the same spot for the rest of their life than to boss up with a real boss-ass motherfucker. Gangster. Keep it real.